Hi there, it's Karen here, of course, with my buddy Whiskey Sour, saying hello. Someday I'll have a little puppy on my lap who will say hello to you, and he might even take over the whole vlog. Probably just let him do what he wants then. I've told Whiskey if he has something to say, I'll totally let him do a vlog. Nothing. I wrote a vlog today called, Are You Angry with Them or With You? It's pretty natural to react to something that someone did to us. And I think it's part of our instinct to protect ourselves. Cats who are cornered, and I was thinking about this morning when I saw that one tabby cat I've taken pictures of. He was up on a rooftop outside the window just preening himself in the sun. And the nights have been really cold, they've been like 40. And so I think he probably gets up in the morning, feels pretty good about being up on a rooftop with the sun. And I was thinking about when him and Filthy used to fight. And I think, cats who are cornered will come out with their claws. And I think the flaw in that comparison, that when we talk of ourselves that way, is that we will bring out our claws to protect ourselves emotionally, which is not really necessary if you think about it. When my stray cat Filthy used to come around, he'd be in this nasty showdown with that tabby cat. And all the neighboring ferals would be around, and they would be downright vicious. If you've ever seen a cat fight go on, it's ugly. Now, a lot of the times they're just making more noise than doing damage, but it's pretty vicious. And what I couldn't get over is how quickly they would emotionally recover from their fight. He'd walk inside when I'd call him in as though nothing would happen. Nothing. And he'd rub up against my leg, and he'd purr and look for his kibble in the dish and stuff. And it wasn't celebratory. It's not as though he won the fight. He just got his butt kicked outside, I never saw him win the fight. He was always, and I think part of that was because he was maybe starting to get sick, because he died, and they thought it was maybe a tumor. And so maybe he was starting to get sick, so that was part of it. But I never saw him win a fight. And he just seemed to be able to walk inside and flip the switch as though nothing happened and just go back to life again. What a skill, right? We, on the other hand, have no clue how to do that. Just no clue. Have not figured that out. And we seem to carry this emotional burden from every single fight we get into, not only into the next fight, but into all these other aspects of our lives. And I guess I wouldn't necessarily trade being an emotional creature for not having emotion, but I think why we bond with cats and dogs and what we seem to get from them is the sense of balance. Now sometimes when they're emotional, it's because they have some kind of history, something going on with them that they're carrying around. But they overall, I would say as a whole, cats and dogs have a better grip on their emotions than we do. And yes, they can have behavioral problems, and dogs especially can have behavioral problems if they carry baggage from an abusive situation or whatever. But their baggage seems more reasonable than ours, or it's appropriately warranted. And I think we're like this too, if we're just busy surviving, out there in the wild, surviving and everything, and nobody just comes over and just kicks our butt for no reason, then we seem to be okay. But any of us that have been through abuse, and I've been through my share, unfortunately, much like a dog who's abused, they will carry that emotional baggage with them. And you know what? I think our sadness and our anger is warranted, and it's there for a reason. We have these emotions for a reason. I just don't think that this anger is helpful. As humans, we have the ability to control our emotions in exchange for peace of mind. It's kind of a cool thing. It's one of the greatest human qualities, choice. We can choose how we deal with things. It's what separates us from them. We get to choose. I think that can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, we get to choose, which to me, choice is the highest form of love that we've ever been shown as human beings. And we are not programmed robots. We have our own unique DNA. We have our own, how I always say I stare at my fingerprints. I'm like a little girl going, I can't believe these are like nobody else's. This to me is just an amazing gift that we get this choice. But sometimes I wish we could just be more instinctual, like our little furry friends. It would save a lot of pain to me. Isn't it bizarre that when we get in pain, we go for an emotion that will both lessen our pain but make it more severe? Anger, you know. It's the craziest thing ever. If I'm sad, I turn it into anger, which will dull my sadness, or so it seems. Anger is our protection against other pain, but what we forget is its own pain. It is its own pain. And the bitterness that stems from it is worse. So I don't know what's harder on our bodies. We could probably argue all day long, but what's worse, sadness or anger? And I feel at least there's a quicker line between sadness and happiness than anger and happiness. I think you can get there quicker. At least when we've said we're sad, when we've just said, you know what, I'm just really sad, we're admitting something very concrete, that this is where the problem is, right here. It's not a big blame thing. It's here's the problem, is right here. I'm really, really sad. When we're angry, we have a step that's in between where we have to actually regain control of our body again. And that's complicated. How does this cat go from a fight to content just simply by walking through his kitty door? Like, that's the $1 million question right there. The thing I notice and really respect about animals is that they don't get mad at themselves. That's the key. I've never seen a dog go look in the mirror and go, I hate you, you're such an ugly dog, or whatever. Like, they don't get mad at themselves. They got other people or other creatures or whoever that they get angry with, but they don't seem to get angry with themselves. At least I've never witnessed it. They get mad at another kitty. They don't walk in and hate themselves because they just finished protecting their lot outside. They just let it go immediately. It's because they had a job to do. They did it, and then they just resumed their lavish kitty lifestyle. We don't do that, and I believe it's because the anger we feel towards ourselves is the thing that we carry on. We hate that our character is compromised in a fight. We hate that we resorted to yelling at that person. We hated that we used bad language. We hated that we used hateful slurs. We beat ourselves up for acting like a child. And we'll have a tantrum instead of dealing with it like an adult. And then we hate ourselves for doing that, that our character was compromised. Those are the parts we can't leave behind in a fight, much like the cat can. I think we simply get mad. We'll look in a mirror and we'll see a furrow on our brow, and we'll be mad at that we allowed a furrow to enter into our brow. I know, because I've done it. And consequently, we hate that person who's looking back at us. We hate ourselves for making poor choices. Like, say, if we chose to marry somebody and it ended up really bad, we're mad at that person who just ruined our lives, but then we're really mad at ourselves because we made a poor choice. And then we start beating ourselves up because we made a poor choice. We tear into our own souls for taking cheap shots and spreading gossip and hate. Those are the things that I think we cannot leave behind in a fight. And I don't know too many people who walk away from their anger and feel justified by it. It doesn't happen that often. Most people, they might go, okay, yeah, maybe that was the right thing to do, but I still feel kind of sick, you know. So there's always something residual that goes on. They cannot walk away the way that a kitty can walk away. Our hate seems to be with another person because, well, they made me feel this way. And then I hate them because they made me this way. So then you start blaming them for making you feel like crap. And then you beat up yourself for allowing yourself to feel like crap. Like, it doesn't seem to end. It's this ongoing circle. And for me, I have come to realize that nobody caused me to lose control. I allowed myself to lose control. And anytime I lose control, I am allowing me to lose control. I'm allowing myself to lose control. I use the word allow because I let something in to my spirit, into my soul, that is contrary to how I was raised, the kind of person that I truly know that I am, and the person that I'm working towards discovering. And allowing myself to lose control in any situation is where I feel like the biggest screw up. Whenever a fight happens, if I lose control, that's what I'm mad at, and that's what I can't leave behind. That's the part I cannot get over, is that I lost control and that I did something contrary to my character. The term losing one's temper That's worded that way for a reason. Our temperament, when it says losing one's temper, our temperament is a crucial part of our spirit. Crucial, absolutely. It's life-threatening when you mess with your own temper or your temperament. It's a crucial part of our spirit, which I think we should protect with armed guards. And we should be guarding it against anything that allows it to lose itself. And I think that's really, really, really important. And you know what? Sure, there's people who do us wrong. I get that. I totally understand that. I got a laundry list of people who I feel have done me wrong. But are we going to waste our whole life trying to change them? I'm unwilling to do that. I'm unwilling to spend any more time trying to change another single person. And it begs the question, why? Why do we want to change them? Is it for just our own peace? It's like, I want to change that guy across the room so I can have some peace and quiet. My peace doesn't come from another person. True peace cannot come from the guy sitting across the table. If he's nice to you all day long, you are just in a peaceful atmosphere. He did not give you peace. That's not where it comes from. I really believe that. I'm a big believer in that. So it's up to me to storm-proof my own house so that when this inevitable storm and these inevitable hurricanes come and slam up against it as hard as they can, that my equilibrium is still in check. My character is still strong. That nobody compromised who I was. And that nothing compromised who I was. I signed off. Back to staring at my own fingerprints. Fascinating. The reason I stare at my fingerprints, and I would like to actually get artwork or something that's just one of my fingerprints up on a wall, so I can be reminded that that's my fingerprint, and that I am unique, and that I get to make choices. And one of the choices I make in my life is about my character, and how I react to people is a big part of my character. Losing control, losing my temper, all those things compromise my character and are contrary to the kind of person I want to be. So it would be cool to get some big piece of artwork with just my fingerprint on it to remind me. I signed off with a Mark Twain quote, who's awesome. I bring him up almost as often as Albert Einstein. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. You know, when I was talking to you guys about songwriting and stuff, here's a guy who not only made an awesome rhyme, but it actually says something. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to a vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I will leave that with you today. I hope that if you are feeling some anger, that you can walk away just like the kitty and leave it and not take a whole bunch of stuff with you, which, you know, is usually beating ourselves up. Usually is. That's what we're doing when the fight's all over. So let's try to keep our character in check. Easier said than done. I will let you guys go, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. And from Whiskey Sour and me, right, buddy? You never get angry. See this guy? That's how we should be. Just like that. He's kind of sleepy. He doesn't get a lot done in a day, but he never gets angry either. All right, until next time, guys, rock on.